Start recording. Okay, good morning, guys. This is the second session in review sections and in review sessions, review online sessions. Last session, we have already finished the first two lessons in history, which was Spain's empire and European absolutism. And the second section was the reign of Louis XIV. Today, we are going to finish the third section in chapter 21, which is Central European Monarchs. And also we have two other list sections in chapter 22. It's about the scientific revolution and about the Enlightenment. So today we are going to finish the review for the last three lessons in history, which are going to be included in your exam. Let's start directly now. I will share another screen. We'll share another one, just wait. In your skills booklet, in section number 3, it's about the Central European monarchs. Okay, so as usual, and also as we got used to, in any of these sections, we have the first beginning, we have some terms and names. The first term here is 30 Years' War. It was a conflict over religion, territory, and power among European ruling families. The second name here is Maria Theresa. She was an empress of Austria, whose main enemy was Prussia. And also we may have a question over this line. Who was the main enemy of Austria at the time or under the rule of Maria Theresa? The main enemy was Prussia. Okay? Frederick the Great was the leader of Prussia who sought to increase his territory, the enemy of Austria and Hungary. So Frederick the Great was the enemy of Maria Theresa. 7 Years' War was a conflict from 1756 to 1763, in which the forces of Britain and Prussia battled those of Austria, France, Russia, and other countries. Also, we may have an important question over the 7 Years' War in this line. So this line, you can have a couple of points in your exam over just who were the nations, or who were the countries, or who were the two camps of the 7 Years' War. So the answer for this question is that Britain and Prussia, again, and on the other side, or in the other camp. Okay, let's go down now to the first paragraph, the 30 Years' War. What caused the 30 Years' War? Germany had suffered from religious wars that ended in 1555. Rulers of each German states agreed that they would decide whether their lands would be Catholic or Protestant. Okay, we have a question here. Okay, so I think the internet is not stable. So my audio and also my sound is not stable. So can you hear me well now? Again, guys, can you hear me well now? Please confirm in chatting. Can you hear me well now? Okay, so again, this starts from the beginning now. What caused the 30 Years' War? Germany had suffered from religious wars that ended in 1555. Okay. Rulers of each German state agreed that they would decide whether their lands would be Catholic or Protestant. Relations between sides became tense over the next decades. Then in 1618, a new war broke out and lasted for 30 terrible years. It was called the 30 Years' War. The 30 Years' War can be divided into two parts or two phases or two stages. The first one, or the first half of the war, the Catholic forces by Ferdinand, the Holy Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Emperor won. So at the beginning of the 30 Years' War, the Hapsburg or Ferdinand and the Catholic won the war. However, Germany suffered because he allowed his large army to loot towns. Then the Protestant king of Sweden, Gustavus Adolphus, won several battles against him. In the last years of the war, France helped Protestants. Although France was a Catholic nation, Richelieu, if you remember Cardinal Richelieu, a growing power of Habsburg family, feared that the growing power of Hapsburg family, which was headed by Frederick. So we have another question over this part. Why France helped or assisted the Protestant against the Catholic in the 30 Years' War? Because France, and also it was represented by Cardinal Richelieu, feared that the growing power of the Habsburg family, which was headed by Frederick. Okay? He feared that if the Habsburg family or the Catholic family or the Catholic leaders of Spain, if they grow in power, they would defeat France. That's why France helped the Protestant against the Catholic Spain. The 30 Years' War ended in 1648 with the Peace of Westphalia. Okay. Also, we have another question in this part. What was the name of the treaty that ended the 30 Years' War? The Peace of Westphalia. Okay? It had been a disaster for Germany. About 4 million people had died, and the economy was in ruins. It took Germany 2 centuries to recover. Okay? So, what was the legacy of the 30 Years' War? Or what were the drawbacks of the 30 Years' War? Okay? Here we have 4 summarized points. And also in the original book, we will have full detailed answer for this question. The peace treaty weakened the power of Prussia and Spain. This is the first point. Okay, so the treaty, number 1, weakened the power of Prussia and Spain. It made France stronger. The treaty also made German princes independent of the Holy Roman Emperor, number 3. It ended religious war, number 4. Lastly, the treaty introduced a new way of negotiating peace. Okay, this is number 5. So we have 5 drawbacks or 5 results of the 30 Years' War. Also, I will share another screen here. Wait. Yes. So now. I share now another screen from the original book. This is endpoints of the legacy or the results of the Peace of Westphalia, which ended the 30 Years' War. The Peace of Westphalia in 1648 ended the war. The treaty had these important consequences. So if you have this question in the exam, I don't need all of these points. I just need one sentence as it is in the original book. One sentence or one couple of words or 3 words in each point. For example, and also I will give you a hint in the exam, how many points I need to get the full mark in this question. For example, we have here 5 points. It weakened the Habsburg states of Spain and Austria, strengthened France by awarding a German territory, made German princes independent of the Holy Roman Emperor, it ended religious wars in Europe, it introduced a new method of peace negotiation whereby all participants meet to settle the problems of a war and decide the terms of peace. This method is still used today. These are the consequences of the 30 Years' War, which is extremely important question in this section. So let's go back to the guided reading one, in this one. Yeah. Any questions so far? Any questions? By the way, this is the answer for this question. What were the 3 results? Actually, we have 5 results. I need 3 or 4 in the exam. So we have three chatting here. Yes, I should have to write them all. Not all of them, Abdurrahman. In the exam, I will not ask for all of them. I will ask for 2 or 3 or maximum 4 in the exam because we have 5. And also in the exam, it's not supposed to memorize all of these 5 consequences. I will ask again for 2, 3, or 4 maximum. Okay? And also in the exam, you will have a hint of how many points I need to get the full mark in each question. Okay? Is it clear now? Okay. Let's go to the second point. Is that who ruled Austria? Unresponsive. Yes. Okay. So, who ruled Austria? The formation of strong states took place slowly in Central Europe. The economies there were less developed than in Western Europe. Also, there is an important question here. What is the difference between Eastern Europe and Western Europe at the time of central monarchs? In the Western Europe, they mainly depended on industry. So there were less peasants and less serfs than in the Eastern Europe. In the Eastern Europe, mainly depended on agriculture, so they mainly depended on serfs and on peasants. On the other hand, on the Western Europe, they mainly depended on industry, so workers there were the main base for each of these cities. Most people were still peasants. We are talking now about the Eastern Europe. This region hadn't not built economy based on cities and commercialism. Nobles enjoyed great influence. This helped them keep the service. So the Eastern Europe kept service and the peasants because they mainly depended on agriculture. Okay, on the land and to prevent the rise of strong rulers, still two important states arose. Okay, so we have a question here: who were the Hapsburgs? The Hapsburg family ruled Austria, Hungary, and Bohemia. Their empire linked many different peoples: Czechs, Hungarians, Italians, Croatians, and Germans. This is the answer for this question. Who were the Habsburgs? Maria Theresa, the daughter of Charles VI, was the Empress of Austria in the mid-1700s. She managed to increase her power and reduce that of the nobles. She was opposed by the kings of Prussia, a new powerful state in the northern Germany. Okay, so who were and who was the main opponent and the main enemy of Austria under the rule of Maria Theresa? Was Prussia under the rule of Frederick the Great. Okay, so we answered now question number 2 in this point about the Habsburg family. Let's go to this point. What was Prussia? Like Austria, Prussia rose to power in the late 1600s. Like the Hapsburg of Austria, Prussia's ruling family, the Hohenzollerners, also had ambitions. Prussia was a strong state that gave much power to its large, well-trained army. In 1740s, Frederick the Great of Prussia invaded one of Maria Theresa's lands. If you remember, Frederick the Great was considered and was named the Great because he considered his people as his son, and also he said that the leader of any nation must be like a father to his sons. You remember that? Again, Frederick II of Prussia was named Frederick the Great because he considered his people as his sons. And also he said that, and he claimed that any ruler or any king of any nation must be like a father to his nation and also to his people. Okay? Of Prussia invaded one of Maria Theresa's lands. Austria fought hard to keep that territory, but lost. Still in fighting the war of the Austrian succession, Maria Theresa managed to keep the rest of her empire intact. The two sides fought again, beginning in 1756, in the 7 Years' War. Austria abandoned Britain, its old ally, for France and Russia. Prussia joined with Britain. The Prussians and the British won. In the victory, Britain gained economic domination of India. So also we have another question here. What effect did fighting between Austria and Prussia have on Britain? Britain gained economic domination of India, okay, which became later as the jewel on the British Empire. okay, which we are going to know everything about this colonization in grade 12 in chapter 20, in chapter 25, okay? So that's everything in this section. Do you have any questions so far in this section? Any questions, guys? Okay, Abdurrahman Adawi, okay. Where are the others? Where are the others? Okay, we have Omar, Ada, Mariam. Do you have any questions? Okay. Okay, so I will start another screen, share another screen. Sorry? Salah already joined? Yeah. Okay, Salah, please mute your mic. Okay. Okay, I will mute you all. Yes. So now, everyone is muted now. I will summarize what I said in this section. Also, these questions were already answered and were solved in the classwork activity during the sessions that we had before the school break. The first one, what were major conflict in the 30 Years' War? What steps did the Austrian Hapsburg take towards becoming absolute monarchs? And what countries were allies during the 7 Years' War? Okay, this is summarized now. What we have had. Here, the 30 Years' War, it was a rising tension. Tension rises between Lutherans and the Catholic in Central Europe. Bohemians, the Protestant revolt. In 1618, Protestant revolt against the Catholic Habsburg rulers. Results in 30 Years' War, conflict over religion, land, and power. The Habsburg triumphs at the first half of the 30 Years' War from 1618 to 1630. Habsburg armies have many victories. Troops plunder many German villages. Habsburg defeated in the second half of the 30 Years' War, 1630, tide turns in favor of Protestants. Peace of Westphalia, war ruins German economy, greatly decreases population. Peace of Westphalia in 1648 ends the war. Treaty weakens Habsburg, strengthens France. Treaty introduces idea of negotiating terms of peace. Beginning of modern states, treaty recognized Europe as a group of independent states. Economic contrast with the West, economy in Central Europe still based on serfs, agriculture, several big empires, land-owning nobles in Central Europe block growth of king's power. Ottoman and the Holy Roman empires are also weak. Styria grows stronger. Habsburgs in Styria take more lands, rule large empire. Maria Theresa inherits the Asturian throne. Maria Theresa becomes empress of Styria, faces years of war. Here is the rise of Prussia. Hohenzollern rulers of Prussia build Europe's best army, call themselves kings and become absolute monarchs. Nobles resist royal power, but king buys loyalty. Frederick the Great becomes king of Prussia, enforces father's military policies, but softens some of his laws. War of the Asturian Succession. In 1740, Frederick starts war against Asturia to gain Silesia. Maria Theresa resists Prussia power but loses Silesia in treaty. As a result of war, Prussia becomes a major power in Europe. The 7 Years' War, Asturia allies with France against Britain and Prussia. In 1756, Frederick attacks Saxony, launching the 7 Years' War. France loses colonies in North America, Britain gains India. Okay, this is for the section number 3. I think now we have finished everything in this section. I will end the meeting now, and we will have a couple of minutes of break, and we will start another meeting because we don't have more than 7 minutes to end this meeting. Okay, I will end the meeting now, and we'll start another one. I will send you the link on the messenger group. Okay, and we'll start another 40 minutes revision for section 1 and 2 in chapter 22. So have a nice time and have a nice break for just a couple of minutes or 5 minutes max. Okay, see you just after 5 minutes.